Whispers in the Woods. The town of Eldergrove lay nestled in the heart of a dense forest where the whispers of ancient trees muted the sounds of modern life. It was a place where legends thrived, spoken in hushed tones around flickering campfires. Of all the tales that circulated among the locals, none was more chilling than that of the Wendigo, a creature born from insatiable hunger and the bitterness of winter. Lily Bennett had heard the stories. Ever since she was a child, her grandmother had filled her head with eerie tales of the wretched creature that roamed the woods. It once was human, my dear, her grandmother would say, but it became something else when it devoured the flesh of its kin. Cursed to wander the frostbitten forest forever, waiting for the next poor soul to fall into its trap. At 16, Lily had dismissed the stories as mere folklore, elevated by fear and the imagination. But curiosity tugged at her, as it often did with young hearts yearning for adventure. One brisk autumn afternoon, as the leaves blushed crimson and gold, Lily set out with her best friend, Sam. With Halloween approaching, they had made plans to camp at Crystal Lake, a secluded spot known for its beauty and its proximity to the heart of the forest, where tales of the Wendigo seeped from the bark of ancient trees. With their backpacks stuffed with snacks and a tattered map in hand, they ventured deeper into the woods. The sunlight filtered through the branches, casting intricate patterns on the ground. For hours, they hiked, laughter echoing against the trunks of age-old trees. The further they walked, the more the air around them thickened with an unseen presence. The stories flared to life in Lily's mind, but she cast them aside, reminding herself it was just a myth. As dusk began to drape a shadowed cloak over the forest, they arrived at the lake, its waters shimmering under the fading light. It was beautiful, yet there was an undercurrent of unease. A chill slithered down Lily's spine. "This place feels strange," she murmured, but Sam brushed her off. "Just the stories getting to you. Let's set up camp," he replied, a grin plastered on his face. They pitched their tent and lit a fire, warmth consuming the night air, but as the flames danced, an unsettling silence fell over the forest. The chirping of crickets and rustling of leaves faded into an oppressive stillness that weighed upon them. With the fire crackling, Lily fished her grandmother's stories from her mind. "You know," she began tentatively, "my grandma says the Wendigo can smell human flesh. It's drawn to voices, to fear." Sam scoffed, tossing a stick into the fire. "No way. You really believe that? It's just a myth." But as night fell, whispers carried through the trees. They were soft at first, barely audible, like the rustle of dried leaves. Yet with each passing moment, they grew deeper, more sinister, muffled cries, low growls, and then a grating laughter that sent chills down Lily's spine. The campfire flickered as if it too felt the tension, and an unnatural cold swept through the air. "Sam?" she called, her voice trembling. He looked up, brow furrowed. "Did you hear that?" Before long, the whispers had turned into a cacophony of voices, crying, pleading, calling her name. Panic surged within her. "We should leave," she said, heart racing, but Sam's eyes were wide with fear. "No, we can't just abandon the camp. We'll figure this out." Then, as if summoned by their distress, a shadow flickered between the trees. It was tall and gaunt, its limbs elongated and twisted, a figure unnaturally contorted. Moonlight-illuminated creatures with gray skin stretched taut over skeletal bones. Its eyes glowed faintly, filled with a hunger that transcended words. "The Wendigo! Run!" Lily screamed, her mind racing as instinct kicked in. They tore down the path they had come, limbs thrashing against branches, breathless gasps cutting through the night. But the air was thick with the creature's rancid breath, a bitter scent that made them gag. The whispers now morphed into howls, echoing around them as they dashed blindly into the darkness. "Split up, it'll be harder for it to track us," Sam shouted, his voice breaking. Desperate, they each dashed into different directions. Lily ran until her legs ached, her heart pounding, primal instinct screaming for survival. But the whispers pursued her, intertwining with her thoughts, taunting her with every step. She stumbled upon a clearing bathed in moonlight and froze, bracing herself against a tree. The world beyond the clearing felt unreal, as if the very fabric of the forest had shifted. It was there, at the edge of fear and reality, that she heard a voice call out, Sam's voice. "Lily, where are you?" Driven by anxiety, she stepped forward, heart racing, but the beautiful moonlit scene around her morphed into a chilling tableau. The ground was littered with bones, remnants of those lost to the Wendigo's insatiable hunger. Lily, Sam's voice shattered her moment of clarity. She pivoted, but it was too late. A horrific form loomed behind her, twisted and grotesque. The Wendigo lunged, razor-sharp claws reaching for her. With a scream that echoed through the trees, Lily found strength in terror, sprinting towards the sound of her friend. Sam! She bellowed, charging through the underbrush, branches tearing at her skin. Moments stretched painfully as she ran, but just as she felt the breath of the Wendigo on her back, she burst into a small clearing. Sam was there, his eyes wild with fear, and they collapsed into one another. "We can't stop. He stammered. But in that split second, the shadows coalesced around them, a deep growl rumbling through the air. It was a game of cat and mouse, and they were the prey. In a state of frenzied desperation, Sam grabbed Lily's hand, and they turned their backs to the creature. "This way," he shouted, dragging her down a narrow path overgrown with weeds. They dashed through the dark, the only company being the harrowing howls of the creature behind them. Time felt infinite until it suddenly fractured. They stumbled back onto familiar ground, their campfire still flickering, almost a beacon against the pressing darkness. They dove into the tent, hearts racing, but the Wendigo's claws raked through the fabric, shredding it as easily as a child would tear through paper. With nowhere to go, they clung to each other, suffocating in fear as the creature's laughter sparked a chilling resolve within them. "Lily," Sam whispered, his eyes searching for resolve amidst the horror. "We have to fight." Gathering every ounce of courage, they grabbed sticks and rocks, every fragile defense they could muster. The tent flapped violently, shadows dancing, until the creature's mouth split in a grotesque grin, hunger radiating from its very being. But in that moment of despair, Lily remembered her grandmother's words. "The Wendigo is bound to hunger, to what it craves most. If it hungers for fear, we must not give it the satisfaction." Summoning her strength, she shouted, "Get out of here. We are not afraid of you." And as they both yelled back at the creature, something in the air shifted. The Wendigo hesitated momentarily, as if taken aback by the defiance. The creature recoiled as the words resonated, and slowly, it melted back into the shadows, the shrieks quieting into the night. Gasping, Lily and Sam emerged from the remnants of their tent, the fire still miraculously lit. They had faced the darkness and fought back with light and courage. The following morning, they returned to Eldergrove, bruised but alive, forever changed. They had glimpsed the horror that lurked in the woods, but more importantly, they discovered the power of resilience. The Wendigo would remain a story, a warning for future explorers, but for Lily and Sam, it would become a reminder that in confronting our fears, we could find our light, even in the darkest of nights.